the next 20 minutes feeding your brain with Formosa Fauna so you can learn all about the animal kingdom and become smarter than all of your friends. What better way to spend your commute or downtime? Every Friday is Formosa Fauna Friday. I'm Tristan Hildebrand, the voice of Formosa Fauna. I love animals and I love talking about them. If you're even remotely curious about animals, you're in the right place. On today's agenda, we're going to talk about lemurs, perhaps a little bit more about lemurs and a lot about lemurs. But also, you are also a primate. Is the fur trade or fur farming banned in your country? And reptiles are always in the news. If you are listening to this episode on the day it comes out, which is Friday, October 25th, then today is World Lemur Day. Happy World Lemur Day. Lemurs have appeared in various aspects of popular culture, one of the most notable being in the Madagascar film, where a ring-tailed lemur named King Julian is a character known for his sense of humor and catchy phrases. The American children's show Zoboomafoo, which aired from 1999 to 2001 on PBS, featured an animated lemur Zobu, as in Zoboomafoo, who engaged the young audiences as hosts. Chris and Martin Kratt introduced various animal and nature topics. Zoboomafoo received several awards during its run, largely due to the show's unique combination of education and entertainment. There are around 25 species of primates at the Taipei Zoo, including lemurs, but also chimpanzees, gibbons, Formosan macaques, patas monkeys, and common squirrel monkeys. Lemurs are small to medium-sized primates native to Madagascar, characterized by their large, reflective eyes, often giving them a wide-eyed appearance. They have a long, bushy tail and slender body. The smallest species of lemurs, like the mouse lemur, can weigh around 1 ounce, making them some of the tiniest primates. Larger species, like the indri, can weigh up to 21 pounds or 9.5 kilograms. The ring-tailed lemur, which is the species that comes to mind when I hear the word lemur, typically weighs between 4.4 to 7.7 pounds or 2 to 3.5 kilograms. That makes them generally smaller than most house cats. Lemurs vary in color from shades of gray, brown, and black, with some species having more striking features like ringed tails, as seen in the ring-tailed lemurs, or reddish fur like the red-ruffed lemur. They have soft fur, a pointed snout, and grasping hands and feet which help them navigate trees. Lemurs are primarily herbivores with diets that vary depending on the species. Most lemurs eat fruits, leaves, flowers, and nectar, making them important seed dispersers in their ecosystems. Some species, like bamboo lemurs, have more specialized diets consuming large amounts of bamboo. However, a few lemurs, such as the mouse lemur, have a more omnivorous diet, including insects, small vertebrates, and bird eggs. Their diet can change seasonally based on food availability in their natural habitat of Madagascar. Back in 2019, the Taipei Zoo received Hira, an ai, a species of lemur also native to Madagascar, on loan from Ueno Zoo in Tokyo, Japan. The ai are the world's largest nocturnal primate, their diets consisting mostly of insects. The ai supposedly sounds like the sound they make. These lemurs were once thought to be extinct, and their conservation status is still endangered. They are poached, resulting in a dwindling population. There are about 1,000 to 10,000 ais left in the world, about 50 of which are in captivity. Before taking on the task of caring for the animal, the Taipei Zoo sent some staff over to Japan to learn about the animal's habits beforehand. Hira was then accompanied by a team of experts from Japan to help her get settled into her temporary home. The Cincinnati Zoo once said that the ai is a lemur that does everything in its power to convince people that it's not a lemur. They have unique methods of foraging, using a specialized long, thin middle finger to tap on tree bark, listening for hollow cavities that might indicate insect larvae. Then once they locate it, they gnaw through the wood with their rodent-like teeth, using that elongated finger to extract the prey. This foraging technique is known as percussive foraging and is highly specialized and not found in any other lemur species. They are also said to have a distinct visual appearance that sets them apart from other lemurs. On that list of primates at the Taipei Zoo, the Formosan macaque is the only primate endemic to Taiwan, and it is the same species that you can see rather easily if you are in some areas of Taiwan, such as National Sun Yat-sen University in Kaohsiung. I have taken multiple trips to National Sun Yat-sen University with the sole purpose of seeing these monkeys with some of my family and my friends from the US, because where I'm from in Nebraska, we don't have any wild primates. In fact, all of the wild primates in North America are in Mexico and Central America. National Sun Yat-sen University is right on a mountainside, and it is also right on the beach, so within minutes you can make your way from atop the mountain down to the beach, and during that whole time you might encounter some wild monkeys, and these wild monkeys are known for specifically stealing students' breakfasts. In Taiwan, a lot of breakfasts come in these little plastic bags, and people will warn you if you have something else, try to not put it in these plastic bags, because once they see those bags or hear those bags, they come running and will snatch it right out of your hands. I've even heard that they now know to look for the Uber Eats and Food Panda delivery services because they know that they always come with food. Their interactions with students is not really just limited to the food either, because if some of those students who live in the dorms atop the mountains don't secure or lock their windows, these Formosan macaques have been known to sneak inside their dorm rooms and either forage for food or just make a mess and go to the bathroom. Do whatever they can, apparently. But more about Formosan macaques. Formosan macaques live in groups and follow a matriarchal caste system under which a group is dominated by an alpha male, dubbed the King of Monkeys by the Taipei Zoo staff. It's funny we should mention how many species of primates are at the Taipei Zoo, because if you or I were to take a trip to the zoo, we would be considered one of them. Humans are classified as primates. If you think back to biology class, you may remember the taxonomic system: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Does that ring a bell? The newest taxonomic system apparently now has 8 levels in its hierarchy, with domain at the largest right before kingdom. The taxonomic hierarchy leading to the order primates includes the class Mammalia. The rest of them the average listener would probably have never heard of before and may not be able to write out properly, so I will spare you the details. Humans are most closely related to chimpanzees and bonobos, as our species share about 98 to 99% of DNA, making them our closest living relatives. All 3 species share a common ancestor that lived approximately 6 to 7 million years ago. I had to do some research on bonobos while in college. If you search up videos of bonobos and just observe them for a while, like me, you might get almost a little creeped out by just how similar some of the looks and behaviors are. It was very fascinating to me. But how about some current events? A bill to ban fur imports and sales in the UK has been introduced to Parliament. Fur farming has been illegal in the UK since the 2003 Fur Farming Prohibition Acts were passed. However, importing and selling fur is still legal. This legislation aims to protect animals from the cruelty often associated with fur farming and trade, and would expand the existing ban on fur from cats, dogs, and seals to include animals such as foxes, raccoon dogs, mink, chinchillas, coyotes, and other animals killed for their fur. If passed, the law would end the UK's involvement in the global fur trade. Estimates say that around 7 million animals were killed to supply fur imported into the UK from 2019 to 2023. Part of the argument against the fur trade cites a study published in Nature in September that found that animals farmed for their fur in China carry 39 viruses that pose a high risk of transmission to humans. The authors warn that fur farms could be breeding grounds for future pandemics. British virologists from Imperial College London's Department of Infectious Disease have similarly warned that mink farms pose as much risk as the bushmeat trade and live animal markets. The bill has garnered widespread support from various animal rights organizations and advocates who argue that the fur industry causes immense suffering to animals. Members of Parliament backing the bill believe it is essential to align UK laws with modern ethical standards regarding animal treatment. They are optimistic about the bill's chances of passing, emphasizing its potential to set a global precedent in animal rights. If passed, this legislation would mark a pivotal moment in the UK's approach to animal welfare, positioning the country as a leader in the global movement against the fur trade. Many countries have implemented bans or restrictions on the fur trade. Austria bans both the farming of and sale of furs. Belgium, Germany, Netherlands, India, and Switzerland are all some of the countries that have banned the practice to some extent, whether that be just farming or only a ban on particular animals. In similar animal news, Amazon is facing significant backlash for selling gelatin products derived from donkey hides, a practice linked to severe animal welfare concerns. Donkey hide gelatin, known as yijiao, is traditionally used in some Asian cultures for its supposed health benefits, including promoting skin health and boosting energy. The production of yijiao is alarming. It is estimated that around 4.8 million donkeys are slaughtered each year worldwide to meet the growing demand, particularly in China, where the consumption of yijiao has surged by 300% over the past decade. This increase has led to a dramatic decline in donkey populations, with some regions experiencing up to a 30% drop in donkey numbers. Animal welfare organizations, including World Animal Protection, have condemned the practice, highlighting the suffering endured by donkeys in the supply chain. Reports reveal that donkeys are often kept in inhumane conditions, facing overcrowding, malnutrition, and stress before they are slaughtered. Activists have urged Amazon to take immediate action to stop the sale of these products, emphasizing that the company should align its practices with its stated commitment to animal welfare. In 2020, a campaign led by animal rights groups resulted in over 100,000 petitions urging Amazon to ban these yijiao products from its platform. Despite their efforts, it would appear as though such products are still available on the platform to this day. Critics have also pointed out the lack of transparency in the sourcing of donkey hides, raising ethical concerns about animal treatment. Many consumers remain unaware of the origins of these products, leading to calls for better labeling and awareness campaigns to inform shoppers about the cruelty associated with donkey hide gelatin. What would any Formosa Fauna episode be without some sort of snake-related news story? Remember the one about the guy with over 100 snakes in his pants? This time we have a story out of Taiwan that happened late September. In Changhua County, Taiwan, a 1.7-meter Burmese python was discovered at a local laundromat, sparking alarm among residents. Firefighters were called in and successfully captured the snake. It was to remain in custody for 7 days, during which the owner had the chance to reclaim it. If unclaimed, the animal would be put up for adoption. Officials warn that the growing trend of keeping exotic pets like snakes often leads to unintended escapes, posing safety risks. If there is more than one interested party, they said the right to adopt would be given to one individual who has the luck of the draw. The incident isn't isolated, and similar cases have been reported in the region before, highlighting the challenges of managing non-native species as pets. Firefighters have been increasingly called upon to deal with such situations, as many owners either accidentally release or are unprepared for the long-term responsibility of caring for large reptiles. As was the case with Jai's lizard bounty, what we talked about in a previous episode, and I would highly recommend going back to listen to that episode if you haven't already, a pet released, in quotations released, into the wild can have incredibly detrimental effects on the ecosystem. While it's fun for many people to have exotic pets, it really does ruin it for everyone else when they're released into the wild. It's also partially why the Taiwanese government added 8,748 new species to the banned list in 2022. The animals we're more used to seeing outside, like cats and dogs, are also non-native species, and they should also not be released into the wild. The southeastern United States has been struck with multiple hurricanes over the past couple of months. A man in Florida was arrested for tying his dog to a fence and leaving that dog in floodwaters as Hurricane Milton approached. Officials say the man has been charged with aggravated animal cruelty and, at 23 years old, could face up to 5 years in jail if found guilty of animal cruelty. Body cam footage posted online, which has been viewed more than 10 million times, showed the dog standing beside a wire fence in water up to his chest. His former owner, Giovanni Aldama Garcia, was arrested on Monday, according to the state government's highway safety and the article by BBC's Catherine Armstrong. The former owner reportedly told investigators that he had abandoned his dog, originally named Jumbo, because he was leaving Florida due to the storm and could not find anyone to look after him. The owner apparently tried to claim his dog at an animal shelter after the dog was rescued, where he was being cared for, but later agreed to surrender him. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that Jumbo had been renamed Trooper in honor of the highway patrol officer who rescued him, and that he was put up for adoption. The animal shelter said that they had received hundreds of inquiries about Trooper. The incident sparked outrage on social media, with many people expressing their disbelief over the man's actions during a hurricane. Many raised the question that if you couldn't find anybody to take care of your dog, even releasing the dog would be better than chaining them to a fence. So a lot of people have questions, but a lot of those questions remain unanswered. It's likely many of you listening to this episode have also seen that photo circulating online by now. In the meantime, the former owner has yet to be charged with anything and still has to run through the legal process before anything is official. Beneath the rugged terrain of southern Australia's largest mountain range lies a treasure trove of fossils that unveils a significant chapter in the history of life on Earth. Located within Nilpena-Idiyakara National Park, these fossils capture a transformative period in evolutionary history when single-celled organisms began their remarkable journey toward becoming the planet's first complex, visible animals. A recent discovery by Scott Evans, an assistant professor of geology at Florida State University, along with a diverse team of paleontologists, has shed light on an early marine animal from approximately 555 million years ago. This finding not only deepens our understanding of evolutionary processes, but also highlights a pivotal moment in the development of life. The newly identified species, Quaestiosimpsorinum, is notable for exhibiting a clear left-right asymmetry, an important evolutionary milestone. The results of this research have been published in the journal Evolution and Development. The Quaestiospecimen is about the size of a human palm and features a distinctive question-mark shape in the middle of its body that differentiates the left side from the right side, Evans explained. This unique anatomical organization is not observed in other fossils from the same period. Additionally, this animal represents one of the earliest forms capable of independent movement. Despite decades of excavation at Nilpena, Quaestio was only recently uncovered at one of the park's newest excavation sites, thanks to collaborative efforts with volunteers from the South Australia Museum. The research team is eager to continue exploring the park's nearly 150,000 acres, seeking to uncover more significant findings. They say, "We continue to make new discoveries with every dig." Have you ever had a memorable experience with an animal? Whatever it is, I want to hear about it. So send me an email at tristan@rti.org.tw. See you next time for Formosa Fauna Fridays here on Radio Taiwan International.